Hey family, it's D. Orlando Fortune. This is another inspirational talk, but today I'm actually going to come to you from a completely different angle than I've ever come at you. Today's message is actually for those of you who just want to be yourself. You ever had that feeling like, I just want to be me? But for whatever reason, your past or the doubts about yourself or the things that you've been telling yourself about who you are have kept you from really showing the world who you truly are. Today's message is for you. So hopefully I can get through today's message without tearing up because of all the blessings that I've actually received in my life. You know, my mentor says that when you've been blessed, you must turn around and become a blessing to someone else. And I want to apologize to those of you who are to hear some of my story here today and that you have not been able to hear exactly what's going on in my life. And because I have not told you this story, as I found out, my mentor told me, I'm leaving you guys out there, not giving you opportunity to say that, yes, you too can change. So just to get into what it is, let you understand from early on when I was in high school and so forth, I used to be a guy that was the student athlete of varsity sports. I played in baseball and in football. Then I also was the student that was in all honor roll classes, accelerated classes, and so forth. I actually worked in the dean's office and so forth. That was my life. Okay, that's one side of my life. The other side of my life is that eventually towards my junior and senior year, I actually started getting out into hanging around with people that were doing other things, right? So I started testing those waters and seeing what it was like to live this other life. And I was actually the guy that parents would look at and be like, you should be more like Dwight. But they didn't really understand the other side of who I was. And I had no problem with that. I thought it was kind of cool at the time to live this double life. Eventually, I got into the point where the things that I was doing in my part-time, in my pastime, started affecting what was going on with my school life and in my career in athletics. I won't go into too many details about what happened there, but let it be known that I should have learned early on in my life that trying to live this double life was not going to work for me. You see, all I ever wanted to be was me, but I didn't know how to just be me. I wasn't confident enough to just be me. I was in the special classes, the accelerated classes, but I was also taking arts and all these other different classes and hanging around with this group and that group and this group and that group, going all around the school, meeting different people, hanging with different people because I really wasn't sure exactly who I was. I wasn't confident enough to be myself. And that includes just being around the athletes. But as time goes on, I get into college, and when I get into college, I start doing more of these extracurricular activities. However, I got into college with a full scholarship for baseball and then eventually transferred that over to a full scholarship for my academics. You see, I had both sides of this. I had the brains and I had the brawn, right? But I also had the bad side of me that not too many people actually ever knew about. And I liked it that way. But the reason why I started looking more into the other side of my life was because I was being less and less confident about who I was as I didn't get the results that I thought I deserved. I thought I wanted in my life was for everybody to recognize who I was, but that was not fulfilling me. So I found that fulfillment in other areas of my life. And as time goes on, I started finding myself partying and partying and partying more and more and more. And as I continued to party and party more and more, I started getting myself into trouble. Now, again, because of my background and my ability to communicate, I found that I was able to get myself out of trouble. The smile and my network of people was able to help me to mitigate some of the circumstances that I was in. Should have been in far earlier, could have got into way more trouble than I was ever given. I wasn't ever punished as much as I could have been punished. I have to give some of that to my network, and I have to give a lot of that to my God for giving me opportunities time and time again for me to change. for me to start living the life that he wanted me to live. Start living for him to fill that void that I was looking for in other people and other things and other ideas. That's how he's always been there waiting for me to come back to him. But I kept pushing him away. Maybe some of you understand exactly what I'm talking about. You got this void that you're still trying to fill, but you haven't given opportunity for God to step in there and fill that void for you. I understand that. And because you have not allowed him to step into your life and reveal who you are, a child of God, a spiritual being, you are still looking for that answer. It says, by time went on, God tried to show me again as I started cleaning my life up and trying to get a job. I come home from any networking events, and as I parked the car in the garage, I walked down my driveway, which is actually on a hill, and I had to go get the mail. And as I turn around and start walking back up the driveway with the mail in my hand, looking down at the mail, I get this feeling to look up. When I look up, there's this truck barreling down the hill at me. The car I had just parked had popped out of gear and was rolling down the hill. It hits me in the driveway, drags me across the street, leaves me, runs over me and back over me, and stops, miraculously stops back on this slanted driveway, leaving me in the middle of the streets, where a little boy finds me from down the street, calls his mother, and they call the ambulance. What ended up happening after that accident in July of 2009 is that I ended up breaking both bones in my lower leg, breaking my hip, fracturing my ribs, collapsed lung, road rash on my arm, a hole in my head, and I severed my spine in half. And after 5 hours of surgery on that Thursday night, they repaired my legs and my hip. But they were scared, the doctors were scared to work on my back, my spine, because they figured if they do this, they just might paralyze me.
Daddy says I got a story to tell.
All right. You gotta sell that, homie.
So, I'll tell this story.
But as you can see, you guys, I walk around and play basketball and everything else that I want to do in my life after that accident because God is good. I remember when I was sitting in the hospital recovering, y'all, I was only in the hospital for about 11 days, and I went to rehab for about 10 days. Again, that was in July of 2009. By November, I was walking on my own. My pastorate coming to see me at church while I was, see me in the hospital when I was there. And he only came that one time. And later on, I asked my father, I was like, why did the Reverend never come back to see me again? And his response was this. He said that, Reverend Williams said that God had me, that he didn't need me to come, that he didn't need to keep coming to see me. God had me, and he knew it from the way I was smiling, the way I was looking around and upbeat, and my faith was keeping me clear, and it was evident to him that I was in good hands. But y'all, I would love to say in 2009 that my life cleaned up even after all this trauma that happened in my life, and God healing me and giving me my ability to walk again and renewing my passion for life. No, I went back out. And started acting silly. Started having too much fun again. And come to find out, years later, I would eventually find myself in jail. Sat in jail for longer than I really wanted to be. And so at one point in this time where I was sitting in jail, I had gone to court again, and I come back from court and going back to my dorm, and I was really upset with God. I was like, I come in, I was like, God, you and me got to have a talk. So he and I go over to this window where I had my Bible, and I go to talking to him and asking him, why am I still here? Let me out of here. Why? I'm doing everything you want me to do. The response I got back was, you're not ready. I accepted. I smiled. Went about my day. I was good. I could accept that. And I went back, continued to work on myself. And then when I was finally released from jail, I had made it a vow to myself that I was going to try to change my life around. But within 45 minutes, I was back out on the streets. I'm glad to say that within a few weeks of me being out, I actually made the final decision. I'm changing my life for good. And that life change has led me to this filming today. I'm happy to say that my life is changed in a completely new direction again. For me to have said this to you right now is me a testament to the fact that God has been so good in my life, and I have not been giving him the glory that he deserves. But he can do the same thing for your life. I've been too afraid to be myself, to be who I was, to be this child of God, to speak truth into you the way you deserve to be spoken to. Because you have that same light in you. So we think about these seasons that we go through. We got winter, spring, fall, and summertime as we're in now, as of this recording. You think, back when I was in high school, I was always the guy that wore long pants and long sleeves. I didn't like my hairy legs, so I wasn't trying to show them. And so I also wore under a couple shirts that layered up so I looked kind of bigger because I thought I was too slim. So these are the things I came on. No matter what time of the year it was, winter, spring, fall, summer, I wore these long sleeves. People would ask me, Fortune, why are you wearing these long sleeves in the summertime? So I'm too cool to get hot. Don't worry about it. Right? That's what I would say to people. But the truth was I didn't have the confidence. But here's the thing. I never wore a winter coat during the summertime. And I wasn't wearing shorts during the winter time, especially in the winter of the Midwest where it gets extremely cold. And so what am I saying? Is that in these times, in the seasons that we're in, we must dress appropriately. And I'm saying right now it's time for you. It is time for me to wear the appropriate clothing for the season that I am in. I can no longer wear the clothing of last season moving into this new season of my life. You can no longer wear the clothing of last season in this new season of your life. It's time for you and I to continue making our change. I'm willing to help you get there. I hope this helps you to see that there's something in you that God's been continuing to work in your life. And now is the time for you to change. You can come with me. I'll show you how I've got to where I am. I can show you how to continue moving forward because I love you. And it's what God wills for me to do, to help you become you. Remember, all I ever wanted to be was me. I know all you ever want to be is you. You can do that. I love y'all, and I'll talk to you later.